Alrighty, so we're gonna do a quick instructional video on landing, okay? I'm gonna put myself in the right face. I'm gonna need to trim that. There we go. Using a good amount of speed as the flaps come down. To landing mode, gonna still maintain my bank. Gonna try and maintain that pitch speed. I still want a good amount of speed because I'm pretty far away from the airport. Okay, so I should be at this point online for takeoff. I mean, oopsie, for landing. I've turned off, so as I mentioned in the previous video, as you can see, this shows you that the plane is not trimmed. Have a look at this. If I move my mouse here, this is not a well-trimmed plane. It's now actually auto-trimmed itself, funny enough. Once I moved my mouse there, it auto-trimmed itself. But as you saw before, it was a struggle to bank it up and down. That's now, of course, gone. Because when you move your mouse to that middle, I believe it hit near zero, and then it just auto-trims itself, so that's good. So as I'm flying right now, I'm going to be approaching my destination, and I want to get a good lineup, so I'm going to try and come in. It would be a lot easier, of course, if we had the mini map, but I don't. So I'm doing this by visual. And when you're pilot or whatever, as your pilot, you'll be watching this video. If you're going to come up for a lineup for any airport or whatever, you need to, of course, make sure that you're taking a good vertical speed. You can use, of course, when the autopilot's there, you can use the autopilot to maintain your vertical speed at a set heading, but just know, of course, you won't have any control of the plane in autopilot mode. So it's usually, of course, good to do this manually. I'm using a visual block, which is, if you've seen my autopilot automatic landing, that block is usually it's a waypoint, it's a mini waypoint or a VOR. So I use that because it's actually right in the right location for where the runway is. And I usually aim for that. I aim to lose at least, with a vertical speed of around 2,500 usually at max. I try and aim for that or around there and try and lose my speed because I want to be on the glide scope at around 1,500 feet. I keep my speed, of course, or the throttle at 55, usually around 55, 70 when on full flaps, because as you know, full flaps, this is 30 degrees flaps actually, will create a lot of drag. So it's important to, of course, have as much throttle on there. And around this low altitude, pilots usually have the throttle around 50. If you're coming down from very high altitude, we're talking like 36,000, 24,000, you wouldn't even have the flaps on. You would only put these full flaps just on approach. I've actually put them on very early. You wouldn't have them on until the last 1,000 feet or so. So now is the perfect time to put on the gears. I'm going to auto trim, of course, because the gear changes to CG. So I'm going to auto trim that. And as you see, I'm auto trimmed. Again, I'm trimmed. To make sure I'm trimmed, I just put my mouse in the middle, and if it can hold my current pitch, it's trimmed. If it doesn't, it goes down or up, it's not trimmed. So now, as you can see, I'm on a short final, and pretty much now I can start lowering my speed, okay, because I don't need all this speed. At this point in time, you just want to make sure, of course, all your systems are working. If there's any crosswinds, you would have turned off the rudder at 1,000 altitude or 500, and then manually you would have turned off the yaw damper, my bad, and then manually controlled the plane's yaw with, of course, your rudder keys. Of course, we don't have any crosswinds, so the yaw damper can stay on all the way until the switch off point, where it switches off around 50 feet or something, which is more than fine for us. If I still feel my plane is heavy, I use the trim and I keep it there. We're still coming in a bit fast. There will be a certain point where the gears will completely switch on, and it will be followed by a quick nose down. It won't be too strong. The moment that happens, I'd advise having the auto trim on. As you can see, it will eventually come like that. Um, there we go. So that's the
100
auto
above.
trim,
100.
of course. And now I should be able to come in for a good landing. So make sure, of course, you have auto trim. Around 150 usually comes in. I could probably make that height a lot higher
50.
later on.
40.
But as you go,
30. 20.
it should be a smooth and nice touchdown there. That was pretty hard for me there. So I'm pretty much down. Someone else is in another plane. Um, and of course, you would use the spoilers and the reversers at this point to slow the plane down with brakes coming in later on. Of course, these brakes are, super power. These are like your Formula One extreme brakes, which wouldn't be on the final version. But that's just because we don't have reversers at the moment or the spoilers. Um, Once done, of course, you can taxi whatever. Of course, too much of a taxi turn, and you will see that the plane will slide. That's just gonna happen, of course. And it looks like a plane has crashed over there. I think it's one of the arrows here have crashed the old version of the A350. We have many spawns there, so we have the new version, the P-brake version, and the Z version in our spawns. We're gonna clean those up later on. But yeah,